Hello there. So that's gonna be RR playing air on all that glitters. So yeah, let's see what we have here. Standard free maxes into solar and winds, okay. So yeah, that would be a good idea to start solar earlier so you don't stall on energy. But it's just like a few seconds, so who cares? And yeah, thing I like to do in air spot recently is actually take 4 maxes before taking air lab. And actually, like on this spot, I will just go like from spawn here, take this max into this 3, then energy and into the lab. And I most likely would make energy storage before the lab, because then you have a lot of energy to just make your aircrafts, right? And in this spot, it's actually better because you can like start here and like go 3 maxes, take this 3, go take this, and then make energy and storage. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. All right, so let's see what you do. Okay, so scout first, that's nice. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about. You just spend all your energy on that. So basically you kinda don't have any. And if you like build more energy before the lab and energy storage, then you like bank bunch of energy while you build it, and then you have like a lot to spend on the units. But yeah, that's just like a minor thing. Okay, so the second is constructor. I would say it's kinda risky because yeah, often someone can just rush you with a fighter, for example. Like in general, you don't really need this constructor so early. It would be a better idea to ask this guy to build you a land constructor, right? A constructor bot instead, and like transport to move it to you. Yeah, you basically got this. You got it. So you don't really need this constructor, right? All right. So you're rushing the contract, but you don't really have energy for that. So yeah, that's a bit of an issue. And yeah, the way you went with these units is actually you are at like 3 minutes and you don't have any fighters. So the issue is that if he just pumped fighters and made 2 bombers, you wouldn't have anything to deal with that. Yeah. So you, yeah, like early game, it's better to make sure that you have a bunch of fighters in case someone rushes bombers, because it's quite hard to kill them actually, like very early. It's hard to prevent it from like dropping bombs, and you like don't want it to like kill all energy of your eco player, right? So yeah, I wouldn't go for the shurikens that early. Like you don't, you don't really see any leaks, right? And you can build them very quickly. So it's more like reactive thing. And yeah, another thing, I wouldn't like walk away with commander from the lab. You actually want him to boost it instead of turrets, to be honest, because like it's just more efficient at the start. And as you can see here, you just building energy, a lot of energy now, but you are actually lacking metal. So what you should do is prioritize these mechs instead of like walking commander here to build this. You could just grab these mechs or make a transport and use this conbot to actually make maxes. So like the way I do it is in this spot I spawn here and I take these maxes with commander, then I get the constructor from the eco which walks here and takes this max, and then I transport it here, and then I build construction turret here, and it's kinda flows nicely without like much walking. So yeah, at this point you are really lacking the energy storage. You have like full energy. like you overflow a lot of energy and you keep building it, right? So you really need energy storage, and you need like until you have like 20,000 energy. Like you don't build converters before energy storage because they are actually not very efficient. And the issue is when you go for the converters, that when the wind drops, actually you don't have any energy to convert, right? And you want energy to like build units, right? So yeah, always build energy storage first, like, and I mean like free, but not free at once. Like when you are full energy, you add storage, and then when you are again full energy, you add another one and another one, and then maybe you can make converters, because right now, like you see, you are making converters, but you actually don't have energy when you boost your aircraft. All right. And also, yeah, like also going for 2 construction aircrafts is kind of greedy. You don't really need them. Yeah, just because what you need is actually con turrets, and you build stuff like energy with the construction. But anyways, okay, it's nice that you are reacting to the leaks with your shuriken. So maybe let's take a look at what are you looking at, because as air is very important to have like a wide overview of the map. Like, okay, so something like that. Okay, some sneaky bombing, that's very good. But yeah, unfortunately it's kinda late for that, so you already saw it. But like rushing one bomber like at the start is actually kinda strong, because you know they don't have fighters to kill it actually. All right. So yeah, the starting build could use some refinement, like take remixes faster, and you really need energy storage. And probably it's better idea to early boost lab with commander to like make, because you really want is like 5 fix pretty early to be ready if he comes like with 2 bombers and 2 fix, because yeah, it's actually takes some time to kill these bombers, and you don't want him to drop bombs, like, or at least bomb only one player. You don't want to you don't want him to get some value with these bombers. Okay. So yeah, there's some idle time. Yeah, when you get the T2 constructor, it's always good idea to assist him with the commander to get the maxes faster. And probably it's good idea to just reclaim the air lab at this point, because actually you are like not building anything now, because you don't have resources, just spending everything on the max. So yeah, it's good idea to just reclaim it, upgrade your maxes, and then and then rebuild the T1 air lab. Okay. So let's speed up a bit, see what happens. Okay, so I actually quite light on the fighter, so it's also could be risky if he was like rushing something like cheeky, because most of the time people go for the upgrade 22 maxes, but sometimes like he comes for you before that, and it could catch you off guard. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. But yeah, you really like the reclaiming the bot lab would help. And another thing is that the way you build your construction turrets, they reach only 3 maxes. And if you build them like here, it would be 4. So that would make this upgrading much faster. And it's also a good idea to like not, especially as an air player, I would say, but basically in any position, you don't really want to group up your contours like that, because like you want to cover more area. Like make one here, maybe one here, and then you get all the maxes covered, but you also got your lab covered. So yeah, it kinda makes further upgrading quicker, and it makes it safer against like bombing, because like sometimes you get bombed by the air. It just happens, and you don't want him to like kill all your build power in one go. So if you split it, then it's much safer. And yeah, you should really use your commander to assist. And also this guy is idle, so something to keep in mind. You basically at this point you should just get this guy and like make these farms here, because the way I do it is like in the late game, mid-late game, I don't really care about spreading wins, because I actually, it's like a bonus, I would say. So yeah, I basically just do the block like this and send this guy maybe one counter here to make it faster, and it will just give you some nice boost of energy. And I saw that you exploded your converters. It basically doesn't do anything, because like if you have T2 ones, they will have priority over the T1s. So it actually doesn't gain anything from exploding them. And you could argue that early on it's more efficient to build T1s instead of T2s. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Yeah. Okay, some pausing. And another thing, like after fusion, because you went for fusion and you are making converters, but actually you need your T2 maxes first, because they are much more efficient than these converters. So you are actually losing a lot of metal because of that. And with one fusion, I wouldn't go for T2, I would rebuild T1. Because actually, it's, as we can see here, you don't really have metal for that. So yeah, you should go for T1. And then after maybe second fusion, you go for the T2. Because like with Max's fusion, you build T1, you build power, and then you can make fighters and maybe some bombers. And then you already have this build power and like generate some metal, and then you can go for the T2. Because now if you build it, you don't really have build power to make these fighters, you need to add build power, so it takes a lot of time. And yeah, you don't... Okay, I was afraid that you are going for the fusion. Okay, so what we have there. Okay, so upgrading the maxes, but yeah, you don't go for another fusion before the maxes. Maxes are a top priority. Like this fusion doesn't do anything for you. You need your maxes, and you need build power. Okay, so adding build power, that's good. And I would argue that it's not your job to make this anti-nuke, because like you build this, okay, but meanwhile he made 15 fix and he bumps you and you are dead. So like it's not really your job to do it. Maybe later on, but at this point you don't have fighters, so you are very exposed. So if he went for T1 bombing, he would just bomb you very easily. Because even if you have few T2 fighters, it's like you have, let's say, 10 of them, and he will have like 60 T1s, so, you know. Basically, like going to fusions is very greedy. I would advise you to not do it. Because yeah, it can be... it really can not pay off. Okay. So yeah, so at this point, as I said, the main things are to upgrade your maxes quicker, and you should do it before the air lap, before the second fusion for sure. And yeah, and I would go for the T1 air lap after the first fusion to just make it safer, and it's just smoother transition. You can, like at this point, if like everyone has wins and things like that, like the 20 T1 bombers will deal much more damage here than a few T2s, because you just want to spread out bombs over with the wind farm, so it's actually better. Alright, so Aphus, you really don't need this. You don't need this at all. You have enough metal, you have enough energy instead of Aphus. Okay, so firstly, you don't build Aphus, before you have like 20 turrets, because it's not really worth it. I mean, because it takes so much time to build it that it would be more efficient to build fusions, because they would generate some resources before you end it. So yeah, you need first build power and then a fuse, and you never queue up 2 of them at this point, because like really you like 2 fusions and 1 a fuse is like you are set for the next 15 minutes. You can just end the game with that. It's like huge echo. You can win with like 1 fusion, or with 2 is plenty, and a fuse is like overkill. And it's like preventive, like flags. You are like defending yourself, but your job is to defend whole team. So instead of making flags, you should making fight. Because like it's kinda selfish way of playing, and like your job is to like cover this and not this, right? So yeah, these flags are like maybe 1 just to be safe, but not 4. Okay. Basically spending a lot of time on building all things which are not air, and you should like really just pump fighters right now to get like have like 80 of them and make bombers and kill them. Because for example, you should be able to support this push, but you don't really have fighters. Okay, so let's take a look what enemies has. Yeah, he has some T2, some T1. Yeah, he has almost 100 T1s and a bunch of T2s, right? And he's pumping fighters with 3 fusions. So basically, if he wanted, he would just make bombers now and he would just kill your team, because yeah, you are not spending metal on fighters, and that's what you should be doing. Alright. And in general, you don't want flags in one spot, you want to spread them out, because if they are here, if I see flags here, I will just bomb you like that and they will don't do anything. Okay. So yeah, I see you are adding bunch of converters, but you actually don't have energy. So it's like another point where you are spending metal on things which are not air. Right? You are basically building too much base and not enough units. And as air, you should even, especially when you already have T2, you should just focus on making units. Alright. There's not much going on. Alright. Okay, the second I fuse. Yeah. Like, I mean, as I said, 1 is plenty, 2 is just like overkill. Because, for example, at this point, you should defend that. That's like your job is to not let that happen. Because you could do that if you just made the gunships instead of AFUs, right? So that's something which also this, right? Basically, you don't have anything to support your team, and now air comes, and you don't have anything to like do with that. So the thing, like what is missing at this point is like 2 fusions are greedy. You shouldn't build AFuses and just made units, and then you would be able to help your team, right? Because like with 2 fusions, you can make bombers, fighters, do some bombing, and meanwhile while you're doing bombing and add another fusion, and then when you have like 20 turrets, then you can switch to AFuse, maybe 1, but it's like it's really plenty. You don't really need that income to just make fighters. Alright, so I think I will finish at this point, because yeah, your team is kinda in rough spot, and I think I think that there is something to work on already. So yeah, we just pause at this point, and in summary, I would advise to start with at least 4 maxes first, because then you have like some more metal for this fighter, because at 3 you kinda run out pretty quickly. And on this spot, I would go even for the 5 maxes because it's like more convenient layout. Yeah, so that's one thing. Another thing is that I would boost the T1 lab with Commander to make fighters faster, because if you don't have enough fighters early, someone who just rushed Bomber has a huge advantage, because like early Bomber is hard to kill, right? So you need more fighters to like prevent it from dealing any damage. Okay. And another thing is that you need energy storage earlier, and you need like 3 or 4 of them, but not all at once, just add them gradually. And then when you have them, then you go for the converters. And yeah, that's it. And as for the T2 transition, reclaim the air lab when you upgrade maxes to get them done faster. And when you are done with maxes and fusion, then rebuild T1 air lab, because it's like much more smoother experience, much safer, and you can do plenty damage with the T1 bombers at this point. Yeah, basically I just go for T2 lab after second fusion. And yeah, that would be it. I hope that helps. And yeah, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and see you next time.